You're proud that your life is stable, a stable job, a stable paycheck, the same circle of people, a stable life without big failures and without serious risks. And that's exactly why you're slowly losing. The most dangerous state in life isn't a crisis. The most dangerous state is comfort that doesn't demand anything from you. Because a crisis forces you to grow, but stability lets you slowly fade, and you don't even notice it happening. In this video, I'll show you why a safe life might be the biggest trap you've ever fallen into. And if you watch until the end, you'll realize your real problem isn't a lack of opportunities, it's that you've gotten too used to everything being fine.
If you clicked on this video, it means there's already some doubt inside you. Maybe you felt for a while that everything seems fine on the surface, but somehow you don't feel like you're moving forward. You don't feel growth. You don't feel like you're becoming stronger, freer, richer, not just in money, but in opportunities. In this video, I'm going to break down why a stable life can actually be the most dangerous form of stagnation. I'll show you how safety slowly turns into standing still, how comfort dulls your ambition, and why people whose lives are going fine often wake up 5 years later stuck in a place where change feels almost impossible. You'll learn the signs that your stability is already working against you. You'll see how it quietly eats away at your confidence, your finances, your career, and even your relationships, slowly and almost invisibly. And most importantly, I'll give you a clear strategy for getting out of this trap without blowing up your entire life. This isn't a video about quitting everything and moving to another country. It's about stopping yourself from becoming a prisoner of a calm but dangerous normal. If you're ready to look at your life honestly, without excuses, then let's keep going. Do you know what the worst part of a stable life is? On the outside, it looks right. But on the inside, there's this slow, growing feeling of emptiness. You wake up in the morning without anxiety, but also without excitement. You go to work, complete your tasks, get paid, come home, scroll on your phone, watch shows, meet the same people, and then repeat it all over again. Day after day, week after week, year after year. And one day you catch yourself thinking that you're not really scared anymore, but you're not inspired either. You're not crashing, but you're not growing. You stop dreaming big because it's fine as it is. You stop taking risks because why complicate things? You stop trying new things because what if it gets worse? The most painful part is that you quietly start downing yourself. When someone around you starts a business, changes careers, moves to another country, or begins a completely new chapter, you say, "I'm good where I am." But deep down, there's this uncomfortable feeling that maybe you're just afraid. And over time, that feeling starts eating at your confidence because you know you're capable of more. You feel the potential inside you. But instead of moving forward, you choose predictability. And the scariest part is that a few years pass and almost nothing changes in your life. Your income stays the same, your skills don't grow, your circle stays the same, your opportunities stay the same. It's like you froze in a safe spot that slowly turned into your ceiling. And then a quiet but very uncomfortable question shows up. What if this is how it's always going to be? Years go by, and on the outside, everything still looks decent. You have a job, you have income, there are no disasters, you're not falling apart. But the problem is, you're not moving up either. At some point, you start noticing things you used to ignore. Your income seems to grow, but prices grow faster. Your job title sounds solid, but deep down you know you're replaceable. Your skills were valuable 5 years ago, but the world has changed, and you haven't. The most painful part begins when you realize you've become dependent on that stability. You can't just walk away because you have responsibilities. You can't take risks because you're afraid of losing your guarantees. You can't start from scratch because you've gotten too used to your current level of comfort. And that's when stability turns into a cage. It doesn't lock you in overnight. It doesn't hit you with a crisis. It just makes you cautious, too cautious. So cautious that you stop choosing bold moves. You start telling yourself, now's not the time. I should wait. It's not that bad. But deep inside, anxiety starts to grow. because you see other people moving faster, learning new skills, building extra income streams, creating something of their own, and you're still holding on to the feeling of safety. And one day, the very thing you were afraid of might happen anyway. Your stability disappears, not by your choice. The company shuts down, the market shifts, technology replaces your role, the economy changes, and suddenly you realize you're not ready, because years of comfort never forced you to grow. The harsh truth is this: the real danger isn't instability. The real danger is living too long without challenges. And if this continues, you risk waking up 10 years from now with the feeling that you wasted your potential. Not because you were weak, but because you were too safe.
A few years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. His name is Michael. Michael had the kind of life many people would call the right one. He worked at a large company, earned a stable salary, went on vacation every year, had a mortgage, bought a car. No crazy moves, no big risks. Everything neat, reasonable, and predictable. Whenever we talked, he would often say, "I'm lucky, my life is stable. The main thing is not to take risks." That was his philosophy. He didn't consider new opportunities, didn't invest in developing skills outside of work, didn't try building additional income streams. He believed that if he just kept doing what he was doing, life would naturally keep improving. A few years passed. The company started cutting costs, the market changed, some roles were automated, others outsourced. Michael ended up being one of the people who got optimized. And in that moment, it became clear that his stability wasn't built on his own strength, it was built on a system around him. He found himself in a tough position. His skills were outdated, his salary expectations were higher than what the market was willing to pay, the mortgage payments didn't disappear, and the hardest part was the inner confusion. He had gotten used to feeling safe, and he didn't know how to operate in uncertainty. When we met again later, he said something that really stuck with me. He said, "I thought I was protecting myself by avoiding risk. Turns out, I just wasn't preparing for reality." The paradox is that the crisis didn't completely destroy his life. He found another job, he managed, but he lost something more valuable, the years when he could have grown by choice instead of being forced to. And this is the key point. Michael's real problem wasn't getting laid off. The real problem was that he hadn't been growing before that. He wasn't building resilience, he wasn't stepping outside his comfort zone because everything already felt fine. I'm not telling you this story to scare you. I'm telling it to show you that stability itself isn't evil. The danger begins when you stop developing because you believe what you have is already enough. And the good news is this: unlike Michael before he lost his job, you have the chance to make a different choice in advance.
The most important thing you need to understand right now is this: stability doesn't have to be a trap. It only becomes dangerous when you start seeing it as the final destination instead of a platform for growth. Your current job, your income, your lifestyle, they're not a cage by themselves. They're a foundation. The problem begins the moment you stop building something bigger on top of that foundation. And here's the good news. You don't need to blow up your life, quit your job tomorrow, or make reckless decisions. What you need is to start acting with intention. You need to turn your stability into a resource, not an excuse for staying still. Right now, you can start building real resilience. You can develop skills that will still matter 5 years from now. You can build a financial cushion. You can expand your network. You can test ideas on the side while keeping your main job. You can train yourself to step outside your comfort zone gradually without destroying the system you already have. The most important thing is to bring back the feeling of movement, because people don't feel alive when everything is calm. They feel alive when they are growing. And next, I'm going to break down exactly what turns a normal life into a risky one, and the specific steps you can take to make your life truly strong and resilient. Now let's go deeper and be honest about what actually makes a stable life dangerous and how to turn it into a real strategic advantage instead of slow stagnation. First, the illusion of safety. The first problem with stability is that it creates the illusion of control. When your paycheck comes on time, your responsibilities are clear, and the risks seem low, your brain relaxes. It starts treating your current situation as the new normal, something that will last forever. But reality doesn't work like that. Markets shift, technology evolves, professions become outdated, companies shut down. And if you're not growing faster than the environment around you is changing, you're automatically falling behind, even if everything looks calm on the surface. The real danger is that you don't see the threat coming. You don't prepare because you don't feel pressure, and the absence of pressure does not mean the absence of risk. Second, losing your edge. When someone stays in a comfortable system for too long, they stop upgrading their skills. They keep doing what they already know, and they do it well enough. But the world doesn't reward well enough, it rewards better than yesterday. If you're not investing in learning, not mastering new tools, not expanding your thinking, then in a few years your professional level may become average, and being average in a competitive world is a vulnerable position. Stability dulls your sense of urgency, and that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Third, financial fragility. Many people believe they're financially stable simply because they have a regular income. But a regular income is not the same as financial freedom. If your entire life depends on one source of money, you're not stable, you're dependent. Real stability begins when you have a financial cushion, diversified income streams, and skills you can monetize in different ways. A steady paycheck feels comfortable, but without a financial strategy, it doesn't actually protect you. Fourth, psychological decline through comfort. The most invisible threat isn't money or career, it's your inner state. When a person goes too long without facing challenges, they start avoiding difficulty. They become more cautious, less proactive, less bold. At first, it shows up in small ways. You postpone the idea. You don't apply for the new position. You don't start the project. You choose what's familiar instead of what's promising. Over time, this shapes a personality that prefers safety over growth, and that's the moment when potential slowly begins to fade. Fifth, turning stability into strength. Now, the most important part, what do you actually do about it? First, change the way you see stability. Treat it as a resource, not a destination. If you have steady income, use it to invest in yourself. Education, skill development, building your personal brand, launching side projects. Second, regularly create controlled discomfort for yourself. Learn a new skill, speak in public, start a small project, explore a different field. The goal isn't to destroy your life, it's to build flexibility. Third, build a financial buffer. Having several months of expenses saved gives you the freedom to make decisions from strategy, not fear. Fourth, analyze your trajectory. Ask yourself one honest question. If I continue living exactly like this, where will I be in 5 years? That question wakes you up better than any motivational speech. And most importantly, don't wait for a crisis to tell you it's time to change. The strongest people start evolving while everything is still fine. That's the real danger of a stable life. It doesn't collapse overnight. It simply limits your growth little by little until you suddenly realize you're stuck. But if you've realized this now, you already have an advantage because you still have time to act by choice, not by force.
Right now, you have two options. The first is to close this video and tell yourself it was interesting, but it doesn't really apply to you. You can convince yourself that your case is different, that your situation is unique, that you're already in control. That's the easiest path because it doesn't require you to change anything. The second option is to be honest with yourself and admit that deep down you felt underfulfilled for a long time, that you're capable of more, that your life could be bigger, deeper, stronger, and that the only thing holding you back is your attachment to what feels normal. You're not weak, you're not lazy, you've just adapted to a comfortable system. But adapting to comfort is not the same as growing.
If you feel a slight tension inside after hearing all this, that's a good sign. It means you haven't lost your ambition. It means your internal standard is still higher than your current reality. You don't need to flip your entire life upside down overnight. Start small, but start today. Enroll in a course, begin building a financial reserve, launch a small project, reevaluate your environment. Take one step that pulls you out of autopilot. The real danger isn't making a mistake. The real danger is spending 10 years in good enough mode. You don't have to be extreme, but you do have to be growing. If you choose growth now, a few years from today, you'll be grateful you made that decision.
If you've watched this far, it means this topic really hit you. It means there's something inside you that's ready not just to listen, but to change. And that's exactly who I create this content for. If you want to step out of autopilot and start building your life with intention, subscribe to the channel. This isn't about empty motivation or loud slogans. Here, we break down real growth strategies, financial stability, skill development, strong mindset, and practical steps that help you stop relying on luck. Hit like if you recognized yourself at least once in this video. That helps the algorithm show this message to people who are also living in the illusion of safety and don't yet know what to do about it. And most importantly, answer one honest question in the comments. If you keep living the same way, where will you be in 5 years? That single question can become the starting point for real change. If you're ready to grow by choice instead of waiting for life to force you, stay here. We'll move forward step by step.
When you opened this video, maybe you were just curious about what it was about. Maybe the phrase dangerous truth caught your attention, or you felt like it might relate to you. But at that moment, you probably didn't fully understand what the real risk of your stable life actually is. Now you see the bigger picture. You understand that the danger isn't your job, your paycheck, or comfort itself. The danger is when stability turns into an excuse not to grow. When the years pass quietly and calmly, and along with them your potential slowly fades. We've broken down how the illusion of safety lowers your guard, how the lack of challenges weakens your competitive edge, how relying on a single source of income creates dependence, not true stability, and most importantly, how comfort slowly shapes a personality that chooses predictability over development. But you've also seen the other side. Stability can be a launch pad. You can build a reserve. You can develop new skills. You can expand your horizons. You can create new opportunities without destroying your current system. You can grow by choice instead of waiting for a crisis to force you. At the beginning of this video, you may have felt a bit of doubt or tension. Now you have clarity, and clarity is power. The most dangerous life isn't a life with risk. The most dangerous life is a life without movement. And if, after this video, you take even one conscious step toward growth, then you've already stepped out of the trap of just fine. Your life doesn't have to be extreme, but it does have to be evolving. And that decision is yours alone.